Okay, so this is a video about depression and medication and meditation. And the reason, well, you can use it as an ASMR video, I guess, if you want, but I kind of personally don't watch videos about depression when I'm trying to relax, so I kind of understand if people don't want to watch it, but it's cool. But I think it's a thing that's really plaguing society at the moment. I've just noticed, I don't know if it's just me or it's been going on for a long time. It's just been, I haven't noticed it, but like people just on the whole becoming a lot more miserable and troubled and isolated, I think. But it's strange that we have more people on the planet now than any other time in history, yet we are so isolated as individuals, I think. And technology has a large part to play in that. Whenever I go out, I see so many people. I mean, I'm one of them, but I find it very hard to talk to people and have conversations with just about anyone, because I just think, like, am I boring you, or I can't communicate with people for more than a few minutes because I don't connect with anyone, so it's very hard having a normal conversation with people these days. And I think technology has a huge part to play in that. I've also I don't know, I find people, a lot of friends that I've had for many years, I find myself drifting away from them, and I go, well, is that me, or am I something wrong with me, or are people just, I don't know, it's very weird. It's a weird feeling. And that is a big part in isolation. But I watched a thing on, it's the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, and it's one of the most inspiring and interesting podcasts out there. And if you have mental illness, I urge you to check it out, because he gets special guests in, and they talk about really deep subjects. He's a comedian, but he's like, he asks the questions that we all want to know. And I found it very interesting. And there was one on meditation, and I've tried to meditate, and I have achieved meditation at some times, but it's like, but what the guy said, the guest, I can't remember his name, sorry, but he said, I'll leave a link in the description, but he really takes the concept of meditation and we look at it wrong. A lot of people go, well, I've tried meditation, but I just can't. I don't have 5 minutes. I don't have such and such. I don't have the patience, whatever. But he really cuts it down. And I think meditation has also been really it's been like everything that people have capitalized on it. The whole transcendental meditation, which I've spoken about before. It's like you can only attain this special gift for money. You can only be taught it. You can't learn it yourself. You can't achieve this unless you pay us to tell you how to do it. I think that's backwards, and they should all be ashamed of themselves. What this guy was talking about was like he was saying, oh yeah, someone asks you, oh, do you meditate? Okay, well, how many hours, how much do you meditate a day? And most people would go, well, I was planning on doing it, but I didn't get around to it, or it's too hard to focus. Sorry I say and so much. I'm just trying to think. Meditation is actually, you can meditate when you're walking, when you're going on a walk, or if you're just sitting there. He says, now I've got it. He said, meditation is doing nothing. You don't have to focus on your breathing, because that traps a lot of people. Is my breathing correct? Is it right? Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just doing nothing. And being in people have a hard time just trying to disconnect from everything. That's why I like to go on long walks and stuff. And just, I have headphones on, or I may lie in a dark room and just have my headphones on, like music, just to distract me and get me in a zone where I can just think. And meditation can be kind of stressful at times, when you're just trying to calm your thoughts, a lot of thoughts come in. And this guy, I'm so sorry that I can't remember his name, it was a hard to pronounce name. He said meditation is a lot like you open up your inbox and all these emotions and thoughts and all these things in your past that have been troubling you, like when you finally sit down and accept these things, that can be pretty scary and confronting. And I find that a lot with smoking weed. I experience a lot, I experience a lot of guilt and questions about my existence and stuff when I smoke weed, and I think to myself, why the fuck am I putting myself through this? I don't want to experience this crap. I thought weed was supposed to make you calm and happy and everything and laugh a lot. Well, it does do that, but it's also can be used as a tool. Like a lot of these thoughts just that you've been putting off for a long time, these confronting thoughts, they just come out and hit you, and you have to kind of look at them and accept them, and they can be very upsetting thoughts. I've had very upsetting thoughts. But I find that you have to kind of acknowledge that they're real and work through them and just accept them, look at them and say, well, that happened. We can't do anything about it. I've got to learn to accept it and move on, or, that thing had to happen for me to be who I am now. That's a very, very insightful thing, and it changes you. Now getting back to medication, I was on, for a long time I was just dealing with depression as I was drinking a lot of alcohol every night. And I've seen people with this same problem. People just drink and drink to black out those thoughts, because you don't really have an introspective thing when you're drunk. So yeah, I was drinking a lot, and I was mixing pills and like sleep medication and with alcohol, and so I'd just black out and not care. And I was on a lot of antidepressants, and if one stopped working for a while, I would switch, and that would stuff up. I was doing that in every few months. If a pill wasn't working, I would just go, oh well, that's not helping me, I'll just try something else. And you go into a psychiatrist and you tell them this stuff. You barely get half an hour with them, or else you have to pay so much more money. And they'll just, like what I was even saying, I'd really like some Valium, because I was around the wrong people at the time, and they were all getting high on Valium and abusing prescription drugs. I think I was around the wrong person, and I've recently cut them off. And that's one of the friends I was talking about. I kind of drifted away from them, mainly on his part, but yeah, thank you for getting me into this mess. But I guess a lot of people have this problem. You just want to black out the bad things in your life, and I was doing that pretty successfully, and I was numb a lot of the time, and I didn't care where things were going, and I was completely dead inside. If you go back to my videos around 2013, 14, and 15, maybe even 16, I didn't know who I was. I was completely fucked. And that was thanks to taking so many different antidepressants and abusing medication. It was my fault. But I was so blind to everything that I didn't know that I had a problem. And, well, part of that is due to psychology and finding a good psychologist. I finally found a really good one, and everyone's problems are individual, and I guess you just have to find the right set of things. And I've been through 2 psychiatrists, and that's enough for me. I don't ever want to go to another one again, because I guess their thing is just to keep piling on medication until you can't think for yourself anymore. But you're just there enough to function. You don't care where your life is headed or what things are happening to you, because they don't affect you. And you can just black everything out with becoming blissfully ignorant to everything. And not caring. And I used to watch a lot of news as well, and I would not feel a thing for anything. Murders and people dying in mass disasters, I couldn't give a fuck, because it's just, you're bombarded by that stuff every day. Every fucking day you wake up, you turn on the news. 30 people were blown to bits, and school was caved in on itself and killed everyone. This stuff happens, but it's not doing you any good for your life. Being needlessly injected with all this negative stuff all day long. And then you have to deal with idiots in your life anyway, so it's like every waking moment is just utter shit. And you just have to... I realized within myself that I didn't need certain things. They weren't making me happy. And I was just drifting away. And I think I feel different now than I did a few years ago. Completely different. And it's just circumstances. But do I regret that stuff? Some of it, I guess I do, but I had to go through it because I wouldn't know what it would be like any different. I could be in a worse place. I could be, who knows, if I didn't go through it. But life is about learning, and no matter what bad stuff happens to you, people think it's not fair. Bad things will happen to everyone. No one can go through life without something horrible happening to them. And if you don't experience that, well, you're not human anyway, so... there needs to be better things in place for teaching people how to deal with life, because I didn't learn anything from school about how to live, really. So you kind of have to learn it by yourself and go through shit. But I hope this has been interesting for you and opening up stuff. And I was just rattling off thoughts. I didn't put any thought into it. It's a few things that I had to deal with. So I thought, get it out there, just record it. And this helps me. I don't care who hears it. It's just good to get it off your chest, and just relax. It can be a relaxing experience just talking. People can for a long time I had a lot of problem with irritability. I'd get angry and frustrated because I didn't have an outlet for all this anger that I was feeling and hate for the world. I didn't have an outlet, and making these videos has kind of helped me in a big way. And I hope it's a form of therapy, I guess. And if anyone can learn from my videos, it's to just express yourself and don't read the comments. There's a lot of moronic people out there who are there to just cut you down for being who you are, and don't let them tell you what to do at all. As long as what you are doing doesn't hurt anyone, and that's just how it is. Just express yourself. Art is a brilliant way of getting rid of negative emotions. And don't let anyone tell you what art is. Art can be anything. I could go and smash a window and I could say that's art. Because that's me expressing my feelings. I wanted to smash this window, and that is the product of what I was feeling. But I'm not going to do that. I'd rather throw paint at a canvas and see what happens. But don't let anyone tell you. Doesn't matter how old you are, who gives a fuck. Just be yourself, and just... A lot of people put restrictions on you and say, oh, that's weird, or, just watch you should be watching Netflix. 13 hours of Netflix a day. What are you doing throwing paint at a canvas? There's something wrong with you? I've had people ask me that. And to them, I would just say, well, I am learning something about myself. Are you watching 3 seasons of fucking Game of Thrones? So, there you go. Thank you very much. Bye.